guys, Nick here. Thanks for coming by. This video might be a little bit heavy, but I wanted to talk about some things that I've learned as my disease has kind of progressed and not going specifically into the things that I've learned because I've done a lot of that in other videos, but these are kind of 8 phases that I kind of went through, and some of them took longer than others. Some were happening simultaneously. Some I had to seek professionals to help me with, and some of it I just kind of had to finish on my own or figure out on my own. So these are the 8, in my opinion, these are the 8 biggest parts of you and your disease. So when I was diagnosed, the first thing was a part of me was embarrassed. You know, I made up a bunch of different excuses when I was first out of work as to why I was out. Now, this was done via text messages, and I don't remember doing a lot of it because you guys know my encephalopathy and all that stuff really had me completely detached. But there were little moments of clarity in there, and I knew that I was supposed to be at work, so I made up all kinds of reasons, and with family too. I would tell people, my digestive system just isn't working, or my kidneys are, just crashed for some reason. But I didn't want to tell anyone that I had cirrhosis, or admit, how big of an alcoholic that I was, at that time. So, I went through that point of embarrassment. Embarrassment was number one, and after I had kind of gotten over the embarrassment and, we had gotten out of the hospital because the hospital really stripped me a lot of my pride. So I didn't really feel embarrassed anymore because so many people had seen me naked at that point and in not very good condition. I wasn't in control of a lot of things that my body was doing. So once I had kind of come to and kind of settled down a little bit, embarrassment was just out the window, with me. So the second part, number 2, was I wanted sympathy. I was really in this just pit, of kind of despair, and I wanted people to feel sorry for me. I had spent years feeling sorry for myself, and whatever else, kind of goes on, when you're just deep in the arms of alcohol. And, there were just, I was just, I wanted sympathy. I want people to say, oh, poor him, and that was just, to make me, I guess, feel validated. Sympathy feels good, up to a certain point. So sympathy was the second part. Number 3 was rejection. I wanted to be left alone. I didn't. I got tired of the sympathy. I got tired of my phone ringing constantly, asking me how I was doing. I got tired of my text messages just going off. So I just turned my phone off. I made an outgoing voice message, and then blocked off my voicemail. I set up an automatic reply to my text messages. It's basically saying I wasn't accepting calls, at this time, and that went on for a while. That went on for a few months. The only people that I saw were obviously Carrie, who was taking care of me, and my physicians. I didn't see anyone else. I never left the house. I didn't even look out the window, really, because I just wanted to be, separated. The fourth part was I just wanted to cry, and this is where my hormonal imbalances because of my liver started coming into play because, before this time, I've always been kind of an emotional person, but I would just start busting out in tears for no reason, no real reason at all. it would tend to be, around 1 or 2 in the afternoon, and then almost always late at night. I don't know what was exacerbating this, or kind of what was kind of kicking that into gear, but it was certainly, a really, really uh, a big challenge, just crying, just bawling, and I just couldn't control it. Um, Once I got over the crying phase, I got this number five. I got this really big streak of motivation. I had been sitting, or laying around the house, for a long time, and I had just been looking at things that I wanted to either clean or that I wanted to try and move or stuff I just wanted to move around, and it had been driving me crazy, because I I would want stuff moved, but I couldn't do it, So I kind of just had this bank in my head of all of these things that needed to be updated. So I had this, real big motivation. So I would, if I was feeling well, I would go around the house and I would just try to be doing stuff. And Carrie would force me to sit down. She would make me, sit down because my legs would be swelling because I wasn't laying with them elevated the way I was supposed to, and all the fluid was, rushing down to my legs. And so, I went through that, like that energetic motivation. The sixth thing was where it got dark. That's where I wanted to die. I was tired of just fighting. I was sick of it. I was over it. I was having the paracentesis done, every 28 days, and I was being strong, for Carrie because we had been through so much, and I had this drive, and I guess a sense of pride that I didn't want it to beat me, and I didn't want her to seem weak, but I was just done fighting. I was over it, I was just spent mentally, physically, emotionally. I was just spent, and I went from those nights of, being worried that every night, would be the last night that I went to bed and that I wouldn't wake up, to a spell of kind of hoping that would happen, and just, let me stop suffering, let Carrie move on with her life, just stop being. I felt like a leech, I felt like a burden. Once that not really tapered off, but kind of at the same time, I started having what I'm calling number seven, which was looking at everything as if it were the last time. Like every single thing that I did, if we went to the store or something like that, and I was riding in the car, I was, this is my last car ride. This is the last. I better enjoy this. This is gonna be the last time I'm ever gonna walk in a car. Or, with my dogs, this is the last time I'm gonna be able to pet my dog. So make sure I get him good in the face, and all this. Or everything. This could be my last shower. This is going to be my last shower. I had convinced myself of that. And if it was random things like when we would get together with Carrie's family for dinner, or something like that, this is probably going to be the last time that all of us are together like this. Like if her brother was, with us or something like that. So that became just very exhausting. I mean, just mentally. I mean, it was just, it sucked, you know. Um, and then I hit my eighth stage, and that was the part where I decided that I wanted to live, like really wanted to live. I was no longer interested in making it past, the January 1st mark of 2022 that the doctors had given me. I was no longer, you know, concerned with, just trying to meet these little 30-day milestones or 30-day goals. I It became, my drive. It became my, I guess you would call it my passion, was to live. And that may sound cliche, or it may sound weird that, oh, his passion was to live, but that's what mine became. It I it was kind of like, like if you get like a new car or a new bike, or something like that. The first couple of weeks that you have it, I mean, you're just on cloud nine. It's just awesome. Everything's new, and that's what kind of changed with me, is that things started to look new again. The trees started getting their leaves back, literally, metaphorically and literally. Things started to come back, as it warmed up, and as my drive to live kind of warmed up, and so those are, the phases, that I'm calling the 8 biggest parts of you and your disease, because each one of those become part of you, and they became part of me, and I carry them with me, really every day. I still feel a little bit of each, but I've been able to, I guess, parlay that into something that's hopefully helpful. So the 8 are embarrassment, sympathy, isolation, crying, random motivation, wanting to die, everything's the last time, wanting to live. And yeah, I mean, that's all I have to say, as Forrest Gump say. That's all I had to say about that. So thanks so much, guys, for sticking with me, and I appreciate you guys spending 10 or 15 minutes of your day with me. It warms my heart. And just a shout out to a couple of people. Monet, love your comments as always, my dear. Your shout outs from Texas always make me smile. Klaus, all the way over in the Netherlands. Hope I'm saying your name right, bud. But all the way over in the Netherlands, he's in my group, and we talk kind of every day. So just really, really enjoying you guys. So in the description box below, there's a link to my group for end-stage liver disease and support. It says East Tennessee, but as I've just said, got people from all over the world on there. So just click on that link, click to join, agree to my rules, and you'll be approved and you're in. So guys, please remember to like and subscribe, and as always, love you guys, and I'll see you all later.